Tuesday when you cast your ballot for the men and women who, above all others, are the best qualified, the most intelligent, and the most honest slate of candidates ever presented to the American voter. Man, this is really great. I'll bet you can hear it for miles.
Yes, for miles and miles, but it's still pretty useless.
Useless? Are you kidding?
No, I'm not.
You mean it's useless to tell our members about our candidate?
Yes, unless they can vote.
Look, this is a free country. Everybody can vote.
No, they can't.
Huh?
Everybody should remember one fundamental fact of politics. And that is, if you're not registered, you can't vote. If you're not registered, you've forfeited your right to vote. So all your hats and speeches and fancy shows mean nothing if you're talking to people who can't vote.
I'll bet there aren't many of those in the AFL-CIO.
There are a lot more than you'd think. You'd be surprised the way some of these state laws are rigged. Actually rigged to prevent people from registering to vote. As a matter of fact, my boy, it's a hell of a lot easier to get a credit card and spend thousands of dollars you don't have than it is to register and vote.
Well, that's bad. Why didn't somebody tell me? Look, I've got a couple of great ideas.
Whoa, now, son, wait a minute. They're already doing a lot of things. National COPE and the state COPEs are hard at work to get hold of union members and their families who aren't registered, to tell them the political facts of life. And they've got some tools, too. COPE, that is.
Hats, ribbons, balloons?
No, pens and pencils, typewriters, file cards, and list upon list upon list. Believe you me, they're damned important. Look at it this way. It's like a vast detective bureau. The job, find those missing unregistered union members and get them to register.
Just telephone them.
Most of the time you start with nothing. You don't even know who they are.
Okay, what happens? How do you do it?
Well, your state AFL-CIO, hopefully, will take the first steps.
Yes. Why?
Pay attention, son. Experience has proved that this way is quicker, more efficient. In short, it does the job better.
Makes sense. What are the steps?
As simple as 1, 2, 3. First, gather all the tools.
I know. Pens and pencils, typewriters.
Yes, but a little more specific than that. You have to assemble lists of the registered voters for the entire state. Telephone books for the entire state. Lists of cities and towns by county. City directories and precinct finders. And reverse telephone books for the entire state.
What's a reverse telephone book? One that goes from Z to A?
No, me boy. It's a book that you get from the telephone company that lists telephone numbers by street address instead of by name.
Oh.
Yes. And zip code books and maps.
I'll bet you'll need a list of every union member.
In the entire state, you guessed it. Thousands and thousands of data cards.
That's the first step?
That's the first step. Step 2 is a little less prodigious. You only need a workroom.
And people to put the tools to work.
Right. Step 3, do the job.
How?
Elementary, my dear fellow. Elementary. Each of the people on the job gets a card with the available facts about every union member printed out by computer. These facts are supplied by the international unions.
Are they?
An identification number for each member. A code number representing the international and the local union.
Why a code number?
Just to guarantee there's no outside monkey business with the lists. And, of course, the member's name, street address, city, state, and zip code number.
That sounds like enough data.
Oh, don't forget what we're after. Tracking down unregistered members. To the card, we add 4 more pieces of data. Yes, data. A code number for the county using the tools of the county maps, or the books of cities and towns by county. The member's telephone number using the telephone directories. His ward and precinct from the...
Precinct finder?
Yes, you've got to know his precinct number before you can find out whether he's registered or not, because that's the way the books are kept. And don't be fooled. If there isn't a precinct, There's a county or town list of registered voters.
I still don't know what a precinct finder is.
All the precinct finder does is tell the precinct number from the street address. So you don't have to run to the map for every name on the list.
Seems simple enough.
She will also determine whether or not the member is registered from the list of registered voters in the member's precinct or town.
I see. Something like a process of elimination, with every tool having a job to do, every worker a specific assignment, and every piece of data a place on that very important card.
Now you see its importance. Before you thought it was sort of dull. I hope you've noticed that the women do most of this work, bless their little hearts.
Yes, I have. Actually, the job couldn't get done without them. Let me see that card. What have we got on it? An identification number, the code number for the International and Local Union, name, street address, city, state, zip code, code number for the county or town, phone number, ward and precinct, registration status, wait a minute. What about the party he belongs to?
Very good. Pardon me, miss. You forgot to put which party he belongs to. Very good, son. You've just demonstrated the most important aspect of the whole procedure, accuracy. I know the work is tedious, but being accurate now saves twice the time an error can cause later.
Thank you, sir. Before you said, hopefully the state COPE would take these steps. What if they don't?
Well, the same steps with the same tools must be done by the city or county COPEs. Somebody's got to do this job.
Now we know who are unregistered. How do we get them to register?
Well, how do you get people to vote?
Well, the best way is to go directly to them.
Right. You dial that telephone number on the card and appeal to the member to register. Not for a particular candidate, mind you. Just register to vote, period.
Well, how about going to their neighborhoods and knocking on their doors, face to face, urging them to register to vote on Election Day and exercising their birthright?
That's the spirit. And where they permit roving registrars, or where union members have been deputized as registrars, they should go into the neighborhoods and register them on the spot.
Like campaigning, we should go to the plant gates, the job sites, and union halls.
If you don't mind, don't forget the bars and taverns. Working men and women have been known to frequent them, you know.
Great. Great.
And use the mails, too. Send the unregistered members literature that urges them to register, and where and when they can do it.
Why, it's just the same as getting out the vote. I could use some of my tools during registration periods. The telephones, carpools, babysitting service, posters telling people where and when to register. And I have the people to do the job.
What are you doing now?
Well, like you say, the balloons mean nothing until we get this job done.
I'm glad you agree, son. Remember, though, it goes beyond organization. It is a personal responsibility. We will succeed to the extent that members take it upon themselves to become self-appointed registrars of voters with a personal commitment to register and vote. We will succeed if every local union leader, the city and county central body leaders, the state AFL-CIO leaders, the international union leaders stress registration and voting at every meeting, in every speech, in every private consultation with members.
We will succeed when the personal commitment to register and vote becomes part of the everyday language of each of us.
Yes. And that language translates best in politics into victory for the working man at the polls.